Hey everyone, my name is Ethan, and you are watching Human Needs. I am gonna start a series here, and the series is actually gonna be called. I don't really know the official name, but I think it's gonna be conservative. Um, I'm gonna be talking about depression. I'm gonna be talking about anxiety. I'm gonna talk about stress and everything else, as well as being compassion and affection and other stuff too in the future. But for the first video, this is just a pilot, as well as just the first video of the series. So this is part one of talking about anxiety, I guess. So first of all, the wow, um, I'm not, and by the way, people, I'm not going to do some cutouts and everything else. So this is all raw, but I'm going to be doing it as quick as I possibly can. So if you want to rewind this video or anything like that, let me know, or not let me know. Do that, and and also wear this with headphones and everything so you can hear me better. And I'll and But anyways, so this is talking about anxiety, but not of me, but talking about anxiety for other people to that could learn from this. So first of all, uh, the part one, this part one right here of the pilot, as I already mentioned, the pilot is talking about anxiety, but of friends. I'm just going to be talking about friends in general, but I'm not going to be talking about from my experience. I'm going to be talking about from a psychological uh, point of view, yeah, if you know what I mean. So, for anyone who is watching, hopefully this will help you. So, as as you grow on, no matter how old you are going to find uh, that you're going to be in facing an obstacle or facing a struggle in your life, and you don't know what you're going to do. Now that's normally considered being worried or afraid or even fear, but also that also has uh, the from a psychological point of view that is also involving anxiety and stress and everything else. But for now, I'm just talking about anxiety so that it's easier for everyone to pay attention to and focus on as anxiety right now and for friends. And then the next video I'm going to be doing is going to be for family, and then so on and so forth. As I grow older, I will start learn more and more, and I'll share my information with you. So hopefully this video will be helpful, and it's a resource. So anyways, as time goes on and on, no matter how old you are, no matter how who you are on the inside or outside or anything, no matter what do you think of who you are at all, then it doesn't matter, because anxiety comes in all sorts of ways, and think of it as like a virus, but think of it as a germ or virus, more of a virus, I guess. It's gonna affect you a lot, but with the virus versus a germ can be easily taken care of within a few days or so. Okay, if you have depends on who you are exactly on that, but mainly for a few days. Uh, for a virus, it takes a week or two, depending on on who you are of your how healthy you are and all that stuff. But with the virus, it's with the virus as well as with anxiety connected with the virus, as the virus has been an analogy here, is that the virus is going to affect you a lot in the heart, and it's going to affect you a lot more in the mind than it is to your heart. It's going to affect you mentally, physically, and and especially affects you with your friends and everything. So when it comes to handling stress with or not handling stress, handling anxiety with friends, no matter who it is. Say, okay, let me mention an example here. Say that your friend is like, I'm gonna mention it from a friendship point of view. Say that your friend is your best friend in the whole wide world, or whoever it is, guy or girl, that decides to see someone else, um, and seeing someone else other than yourself. Now, of course, you understand that, that, oh, we all have our lives, so we don't need to worry about that, just one time. But say that they have been doing it for a week in a row, for a whole week, literally 7 days or 5 days of the whole week. They're hanging out with this one person and not you. They haven't called you. They haven't talked to you. They haven't. When sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't, and you don't know what really to overcome or think about that. So anxiety and stress and all is going to build up inside of you, and but mainly it's going to affect your mind first before it affects your heart. Your heart is going to, as a lot of people describe it uh, as what the heart does mainly, other than beating and circulating the blood in your whole body. That other than that, for what its function is able to do, it has the ability of love, and it has the ability of affection and compassion and everything else. But when it comes to anxiety and stress and all, stress is not good for your heart. Anxiety is not good for your heart. None of which is negative, on a negative impact, on a negative scale of of psychologically and mentally is not good for your heart. And physically, it's not good for your heart because stress could cause heart attacks or heart strokes or whatever, but it won't cause comas. It won't cause anything worse than that strokes and heart attacks. So when it comes to that, it is here's some great things you can do. Basically, here's some methods of what you can do. Number one, when you say, if you're overcoming if you see a friend who you really want, who is your best friend, who's with someone else, but you haven't seen them for a while, and you're afraid to ask them, like, why are you not hanging out with me, and why are you not doing this with me, and everything like that. Don't come to it. Don't approach it in that way. Approach it in a psychological way, in a logical way. As in, like you call them, and if they don't respond, then you can talk, try to meet them in person, or even writing a letter. But of course, who writes letters nowadays? But anyways, texting, calling, or even just meeting a person and ask your friend, saying, hey, do you think you can come here at this location or my place or whatever, and we can just talk, a one-on-one. It's because you have issues or something, issues between, but you don't want to approach it by saying, I have issues with this person, with that person, with whatever, and I don't want you to hang out with them. I don't want you to do this and that and all. Do not approach it as such, and do not approach it with that, because it involves from a psychological point of view and mentally to the other person. It's going to involve and implement a negative reinforcement into their lives. But a negative impact is to also describe, to see how your personality and attitude is with that. And it may not be your personality when you're so mad and you're so upset with them that you don't want to, that you never want to, like, yell at them, or never want to scream at them, or never want to be that angry with them. But at the same time, if it really affects if it's really affecting your friendship or relationship or whatever it is, which right now it's just friendship. is once uh, once it's affecting your and your friendship, it's you might want to do something, just but don't approach it as hating that person so much, having to overthink it and overexhaust yourself or overexhaust them, or having to put more stress on them or you. Don't want to do that at all ever, because negative reinforcement versus positive reinforcement is way two different things. But of course, negative reinforcement is never good to, because then it affects you and it affects your friends and whoever else you interact with, and it's just going to cause a big mess, chaotic mess at the very end. I have learned that lesson myself many times, and still am, as a human, as a person, as an individual. But of course, when you learn a lesson like that, it's not it's something that you're going to may not learn right away if it's a small lesson, but once it hits you, like slaps you right in the face, and basically, or punches right in the face or whatever, and just knocks you down, and not physically but mentally, and when you don't realize it at all, and then you notice, oh wow, it's my friend. I'm not no longer friends with this person, or whatever, because of that. Then you'll learn your lesson the hard way. And I rather you all learn it more the easier way than the hard way. But then again, the hard way is also part of life as well. Psychologically speaking, but anyways, before I mention that, number two, what you can do is listen to music, having to just do whatever it takes, whatever your most valuable interest is in your life, in your lifestyle. Just do that. I would recommend. If for me, it's music. For anyone else, it could be music. Could be watching movies. Could be watching TV shows. Could be doing this or that. But or even could be hanging out with other friends. But don't. But of course, don't. But what not to do is to basically gossip about that person behind their back. Backstabbing basically is the right. It's a correct term a lot of people use as of a urban diction, as an urban word. A lot of people use, but still use, as backstabbing, or basically blindfolding them, and not telling them, and telling secrets behind their back, and not where they're not aware of it completely, and because they're not aware of it doesn't hurt them normally, right? Wrong. It is completely absurd, completely absurd that people like that do that. Now, of course, I mean, with gossip, there's nothing really good about it. There is no benefit to it. Just don't do it. It's that simple. But then again, at the same time, it's probably, you would think it's hard to just don't say anything. Oh wow, no, or tell someone behind their back or something like that. And then but when you do that, there is such thing as called karma. Karma is a pain in the butt. It is just simply a pain in the butt, and it's something that anyone who knows what karma is, or has experience with karma, or anything negative of a negative reinforcement coming back to them, even stronger than what when around comes around, sort of thing, is what karma is. But for karma, if you're talking to them about behind their back and backstabbing them, they're going to be coming. It's going to come back around for sure, and it is going to back to you, as especially, and it's going to hit you even harder than it's almost like doing punchies, if you know what that is. Like I punch you, you punch, you punch, or someone punches you, and then you punch them harder. And as you keep going back and forth, it gets harder every time. the reason why for that is just because of the physical strength of the person, but also in the same principle applies to karma. It is uh, when you punch, when you start punching, um, then when you not really physically punch them but mentally punch them because of talking them behind their back as a punch, it's gonna come up. It may not come back around right away, but when it does come around, it's gonna come around where it's gonna punch you right in the square in the face, where you're not gonna enjoy it mentally and physically, and it's also gonna cause more issues. Where especially if they're also gossipers too. But I don't. But I. Uh, there is rumors about everyone, and when it comes to rumors, which I'm gonna talk about in another video, it's just it's horrible, and it's like rumors that should never been made. But if it's good rumors, bad rumors, whatever rumors, I don't start rumors and don't do gossip. That just don't do that. But anyways, but number two, like I mentioned, is listening to music or doing your most valuable interests. So say if you like to bowl, if you like to do baseball, softball, basketball, any sport, or if you're not a smart person but you're a video game person or anything else, or say if you're a fighter and you're a boxer or something or MMA fighter or someone else, or and doing it as a sport or just punching a bag. Yeah, just do that as well as listening to music or whatever. Just I'm not saying to punch anyone. Never I will ever say to punch anyone, except for just as when I was just talking about as an analogy is. So when you punch someone mentally, they're gonna punch you right back twice as hard, and you're not gonna like it. Trust me. So and it's different for everyone, of course. But karma, when it comes to karma for anyone, it's always gonna be what goes around comes around. But what goes around comes around harder, and it's going to keep getting harder and harder. If you keep playing, basically what you're gonna have to try to do. When you're listening to music, when you're doing a sport activity or any interest of yours, except for physically hitting and abusing of anyone, but as physically punching a bag or having to do basketball or having to hang out with other friends or listen to music or whatever, anything that you do other than that. To get rid of that anxiety and that stress, mainly anxiety, is going to help. But the first thing I mentioned before, just if you remembered, was simply, and that I would highly recommend from a logical point of view, from a logical standpoint, is basically to talk to the person, talk to your friend, say, hey, could you meet me here and we can talk? Or do you think we could talk here or something? And then they come to your place or go to that location or wherever, and then you both can talk one on one. With no distractions, no nothing, just you and the other person, him or her, just talking to each other one on one, and just talk about and just tell that person, and basically I'm not gonna say how to exactly approach it, where it's not like just like that's step one, is approaching them, but asking them, like if they can meet you at a location, which I would recommend at their place or your place or wherever place. Step two is how to approach once you are together talking one-on-one. Just talk about for an icebreaker. Don't have the conversation start out with negative reinforcement ever. Say like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, or I hate that you're being with this person. I don't want to see you with this person again. I want you for myself. Blah 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 and all that other stuff. don't do that at all. Like as clearly a golden rule is do not imply negative reinforcement at all, physically or mentally, and mentally to as an icebreaker to a conversation. When you're trying to resolve a situation between you and your friend, especially if it's a close or best friend of yours, you don't want at all to do that. You want to always be positive, but you want to let them know how you feel, how you feel, and that you want to let them know that they want to be that you that you don't feel like that they're gonna be with you, that they're not wanting. You can ask them like, why are you wanting to see this person instead of me, or or why do you why is this other person, why are you hanging out with this other person, you know, for a whole week or whatever or however long it is without without me involved at all, like, or why haven't you talked to me, or why haven't you interacted with me at all? Those questions you can ask if you ask politely and just ask possibly or would or can't or how or why or anything. And if they and then you can and then however the conversation goes is up to you and that other party, and to both to consult and resolve a conflict resolution, basically is what it is. But I will mention that in a different video for conflict resolution of friends and family and others. So, but anyways, there is maybe other ones of other methods you can do, but those two I took out of all the other ones I have that are not as good, and but I took those two out. Do conflict resolution with them, and I'll explain that in another video. But talking to approach him and talk to